we're going to have new editions of the Thinking Chair and Cage Talk, plus we're going to be previewing Bulls, Suns, and Bucks Pacers. That's all right now on the Yoni and Mac Show.
Please spare me the pain of trying to make this make sense to you. Please tell me your problem isn't bigger than me, yeah, what could I do? I'm looking straight forward up to heaven, alright, I can't wait till the end.
From Studio 1, welcome to this November the 14th edition of the Yoni and Mac Show. I am Ryan Yanishatis. Brandon McGrath will be joining us via satellite in just a little bit. But let's get right into this. Not much to talk about, so we're going to start off today's show with Cage Talk, which is where we talk a little bit about the UFC. Let's first talk about the results of this past weekend. UFC Macau. I'm going to say Mako all these weeks thanks to Brandon, but nonetheless it is Macau. And in that, was at 8 in the morning on Saturday. Got a chance to watch the event on Fuel TV. The results, Dong Young Kim defeated Paulo Thiago via unanimous decision. I picked Thiago to win that one, so I lost that one. Thiago Silva defeats Stenskov Nedkov in round 3 submission. I picked that one, so I'm 1-1. And then Kung Lee absolutely knocked out round 1 knockout of Rich Ace Franklin. Franklin's face just hit the mat, and therefore that was a victory for Kung Lee. Rich Franklin, I think, in his interview, looked like he's possibly consummating retirement and possibly going to be closing the doors on his career. He obviously wanted to win this fight to give him an opportunity to really say, hey, I still have the opportunity, I still have what it takes to do this. But tough loss for him. Kung Lee wins, not sure what. He could be also into that middleweight division as well when you look at all the greats. But right now Anderson Silva runs that division. So UFC Macau is in the books. Went 2-1 on the predictions. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of the predictions on what's going to happen this weekend. UFC 154, live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I'm guessing that'll be, Montreal. I'm not actually sure what arena that would be. I believe that'd be the Bell Center would be in Montreal, so I believe that's where it'll be. Let's go to the top 3 fights. Francis Carmona at 19-7-0 against Tom Lawler at 8-4-0, 1-no contest. I'm going to go Tom Lawler on that one. The co-main event, Martin Kampmann at 20-5 versus Johnny Hendricks, 13-1-0. I'm going to go Johnny Hendricks on this. It's teacher versus student. Kampmann will try to win that one. Again, he is 20-5, and Johnny Hendricks 13-1. And then the big main event, welterweight title, George Rush St. Pierre, who has not lost since 2007, has not had a fight since a couple of years because of his torn ACL. 22-2 against Carlos Condit, who is 28-5. Now, I told you last week there was kind of a bet in the family. My cousin, along with my dad, had a bet, and my cousin has George Rush St. Pierre. My dad has Carlos Condit. My dad, the reason he wants Carlos Condit to win is because he's watched him ever since the WEC days. And I think he's grown. I mean, 28-5 is a very good record. You can't get him wrong. He's had a great fight. He was supposed to, when you look at how he was able to beat Nick Diaz, then after the whole Nick Diaz, but anyway, he beat him before the whole marijuana scandal thing. But nonetheless, he won that fight. He deserved it. He is the interim champion. He beat a very good, intelligent fighter in Nick Diaz. And he's been waiting, and everyone's been waiting for George Rush St. Pierre. But the thing is that they want George St. Pierre to face. They want to have a super fight, possibly at Cowboy Stadium against Anderson Silva. Me and Dan was talking about this yesterday. He thinks that it's going to be fixed because they want that fight. But the fact of the matter is, I think there's going to be no title on line, so I think that fight's going to happen either way. George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, doesn't matter if he wins this fight or not, because if he wins it, he has to defend the title. And I think if he loses it, they wouldn't have to worry about it. So I think that would still happen. My prediction in this one, I've been thinking about it more looking at Condit's record and knowing how good he is. But George St. Pierre, 22-2, he is coming off, one good shot to Condit, or from Condit to St. Pierre. But also, if St. Pierre gets Carlos Condit on the ground, that could be game, set, match. I'm going to go George Rush St. Pierre, and that's saying he's going to retain his welterweight title. Would it be an upset if he wins it, if Carlos Condit wins this fight? I'm going to say no, mainly because he is coming off a 2-year absence, so he could be a little rusty, and that could be it. And then the rematch, I think, would be exciting. So I think that is the one thing that could be. I would not be an upset. I don't think it'd be an upset with him being out for 2 years, St. Pierre. But I think kind of this will be a very entertaining fight that'll be live on pay-per-view. Prelims will be on FX. So we'll talk about that, and next Wednesday we'll talk about the results of that pay-per-view coming up this weekend. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. All you have to do is go to the search box, type in Yoni and Mac, and you'll find all our page, and we're going to show the status updates. It is the Yoni and Mac Show on Facebook. Now it is time to preview some action tonight. It's going to be previewing the two games tonight. Between the Bulls start their circus trip. Bucks face the Pacers. Brandon, first let's bring in Brandon for the first time. Bucks Pacers, Brandon, do you think a win over the Pacers would put the Bucks on the map on a possible playoff contender?
I don't think it does it, you know. The Bucks played good tonight. It's a good team they beat. But without Granger, I don't think the Pacers are going anywhere. I think they need to be like an Oklahoma City team, a Lakers team, Miami team to really put them on the map, I need to see them beat good teams.
I think it gets them started. They were able to beat the Boston Celtics in Boston, but lose them at home. I think they do have that opportunity to be a contender if they can beat the Pacers. Pacers run the playoffs. I believe Danny Granger is out, but they still have Tyler Hansbrough. They have some young talent. They're not the dominant Pacers team that we've seen, but it is still a very good team, and I think it'll be interesting to see how this game goes on, and I think it's going to be fun. The Bucks right now seem like they're an exciting team. They're getting their W's. They want to get wins. I think this would be another one of them big wins for the Milwaukee Bucks. Will they be able to do it? I'm not 100% sure, but I think this would be a good game for them to win, to say, you know what, we are going to win games. We're going to play well, and that's exactly what they need to do. So the Bucks game will be on Fox Sports Wisconsin tonight. Now let's go over to the preview of the Bulls and the Suns, and let's ask you, Brandon, first. Is this a bounce-back game for the Bulls against a mediocre-type team of the Suns?
I think the Bulls, they just came out looking good. They didn't look too good on Monday night, but I think they're going to come back and bounce back tomorrow night. And I think that the Bulls are they're starting to get back in the routine. Starting to get in the routine with their own guys. So I think the Bulls are going to be looking good in the future.
This has to be a bounce-back game for the Bulls. They had a tough loss on Monday night at home. Not a good way. Now they're on the circus road trip. They play, I believe, Blake Griffin on Saturday, Portland Sunday or Monday. So they got some good teams, some young teams coming up. This is a game that they need to win to start this road trip. The last couple of years, they've actually been very good on the circus trip because they've been a contender. Now without Derrick Rose and Kirk Heinrich being hurt, and you still have Nate Robinson, you still have Marcus Teague, but I think everyone else is going to have to step up as well. You're going to have to see Rip Hamilton nailing more shots, Luol Deng still doing what he's been able to do. Out of the big guys, Carlos Boozer, Taj Gibson, as well as Joakim Noah. You got the talent in there to be a contender. Again, 500 team they at least have to be, I think, when Derrick Rose comes back. Right now they're at 4-3, but I think this is a bounce-back game. You need to win this game if you're the Chicago Bulls to start this road trip, because it does not get any easier. They do finish it off the Saturday after Thanksgiving in Milwaukee. Besides that, the other 5 will be on the West Coast. Tonight will be the earliest one, as it'll be at 8 o'clock. That one will be televised on Comcast Sports. But like I said, this is I think it is a must-win game for the Bulls, and a bounce-back one if they want to consider themselves to be very good contenders going on for the rest of the season. Every Friday on the Yoni Mac Show, we'll have a topic that we do not agree on, and both of us will prove why we were right. That is Fridays only on the Yoni and Mac Show. Now it's time for, of course, I love to vent. As you always know, last week I talked about a little bit about racism on live television and stuff like that. But what I'm talking about today is the concussions in football. Michael Vick, Jay Cutler have got him in the last couple of weeks. I kind of addressed that issue and what they could possibly do. Here's my newest edition of the Thinking Chair. Welcome to my newest edition of the Thinking Chair. And today what I'm going to be venting about is concussions in the NFL. We saw a couple of quarterbacks go down with concussions, Jay Cutler and Michael Vick. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed. They keep saying we're going to help save concussions, but again, it's part of the game. But the only way to prevent this is you're going to end up eventually it's going to end up being touch football in the NFL. That obviously won't happen, but to save the quarterbacks, unless you're going to be red-shirted quarterbacks where you can't touch them, you're penalized 20, 25 yards if you touch them. So, I mean, it's something you need to save these quarterbacks, because you see people, look what happened to the former lineman, Sue, or whatever his name was. He was able to, Junior Seau, he committed suicide, and possibly it was because of his brain being damaged being damaged because of concussion. So it's something that's very serious condition that, sometimes you don't get over it. You can have a minor concussion, but if you get one of them big ones, you get hit really hard. And right now they're saying the concussion of Michael Vick is significant. So that's the tough thing about this topic. But I think right now there's really nothing you can do about it. You make the helmets big and thicker like the MLB did, but they really never stuck with them. It's something that you need to really think about. Roger Goodell and them need to stop worrying about bounty gate and worrying about how you're going to get these players avoiding concussions. Helmet to helmet, they find about that. It's something that can happen. So it is a rough topic. It's a tough topic to talk about. But like I said, the worst, it's never going to happen, and you never know. Being touch football just to avoid it, or red-shirted quarterback, I think would be the best idea. You touch the quarterback, you're penalized 25 yards. I think that's a good way to take care of concussions. But I'm not saying anyone else in the league can't get them, but I think it's something that'll be able to take care of it. That is the newest edition of the Thinking Chair. Do you want to know more about the crew? Write a question on our Facebook page or email us at YoniMacShow@yahoo.com, and we'll have Brian, Brandon, or Katie answered on the air. That is, getting to know the crew. So send us your emails. Again, I emails daily as well. Brandon, as you can see, was a little lazy doing his questions today via his bed. He had a game last night, so he was a little tired. So hopefully he'll do better next time. But nonetheless, he supported us with answers, so that's what counts. Now, speaking of Brandon, it's time for his favorite part of the show: predictions. No predictions yesterday. We are still both 1-1. There's 2 games going on tonight. Bucks, Pacers. Brandon has picked the Pacers, and I am going to go Bucks because I think the Bucks are going to prevail. I think this is the Pacers don't have their whole team. I think the Bucks are, right now, they're playing well. Brandon Jennings is the hot hand right now for this team, so I think they need to go there. Bulls, Suns. Brandon went Bulls. I'm going to go Bulls as well. I think the Bulls need to win this game, so that's why I'm going to root for them. I think they're going to have a tough rest of the trip. This is a good way to start. You face a good Celtics team, and you come in and face the Suns team. They're really trying to find their way after losing Steve Nash. By the way, the Lakers lose again last night to the San Antonio Spurs. Bernie Bickerstaff, their head coach. Mike D'Antoni expected to debut as the head coach of the Lakers this weekend on Sunday. So we'll see what happens there. But again, I go Bucks, Bulls. Brandon goes Pacers, Bulls. We'll see, and we'll talk about that on tomorrow's show. Preview for tomorrow, we are going to recap Bucks, Pacers, and Bulls, Suns, plus a new back and forth. I will have the questions. Brandon will not be doing that. I'll be doing them on my own. And we'll have a new around the MLB. You said this once a week, but there's a lot of big news that came out of baseball yesterday with a big trade, and also the signing of Torrey Hunter. We'll talk about all that tomorrow on the November the 15th edition tomorrow. So that'll be that. Thank you. That's going to wrap things up for this November the 14th edition of the Yoni Mac Show. I'm Ryan Yanishatis for Brandon McGrath via Satellite saying thank you for watching this presentation of the Yoni Mac Show right here on YouTube.